Welcome, Autobots and Decepticons. My name is Matthew Flynn, the Gladiator of Chaon, and I am joined by Troy Pacelli, also known as the Carton the Klingon Cleric, and Netta from Netta's Network. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so today we're only doing the first half of season 3, but we are also sandwiching in the second live action movie, Alien Swarm. We're going to sandwich that in before the actual season itself, because that's where it takes place on the timeline.
And sandwiching it in, that does seem to be exactly the way to put it. I brought receipts. Yeah, this is something to talk about. Let me tell you. So, should we just launch right into it? Because I got things to say.
Yep.
I think Cartoon Network should stick to cartoons or change its name. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as, and I said this at the time, I'm going to say it again. I loved Lee Majors in the previous live action attempt. And again, I'm saying attempt, but I did not care for this live action attempt at all. Again, though, I will say that I was pleased with their casting of Barry Corbin as Grandpa Max. Though he's not Lee Majors, definitely I felt got the right flavor. I thought it was a good casting. I thought he sounded significantly like what I expected, Grandpa Max to sound like.
Yeah.
Looked the part pretty well. Was not used to seeing Barry Corbin with long gray hair, though. That was a little bit jarring, but well cast. Don't know who the actor was who played Kevin, but he was also incredibly well cast.
Yeah, he did look like him.
He not only looked like him, I swear he sounded exactly like him. He had the voice down. He had the mannerisms down. He was perfect.
Now, see, where you liked the casting of Grandpa, I would prefer to see Lee Majors again.
Well, I
would too. It's like, I liken it to Bewitched. She started off with
Darren.
one Darren, and then all of a sudden there's a new Darren. It's like, what happened there? It's like it didn't work for me. It's like, if you're going to do a movie and then do like a sequel or do another one, have the same actors.
Yeah, as much as I did like those castings, though, I was not at all happy with Gwen. She was very wooden, didn't look the role. Not pleased about that. And when you go live action, okay, and real world physics are in play, pointless backflips look really clumsy and stupid. Okay, and that's the first thing she does. She does a bunch of backflips for absolutely zero reason. She was not trying to dodge anything. She was just doing it, and the timing was off, and it just looked stupid.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Gwen knows karate, so they could have at least had that somewhere in the film.
Exactly. But that's the other downside of live action is it was very clear to me, I think far more so than in previous live action attempt, was that they were purposely avoiding doing certain things because it wasn't in the budget, okay, for one thing, Kevin is at the very beginning. He's meeting up with his buddy, his contact, for buying some alien tech. That's
they're drug deal. I mean, alien tech.
Exactly. And it was that's the framing device. And if this had been any other, mainline story for Ben 10, he would have been that rat character, the alien. Yeah,
I
exactly.
did actually put that in my notes because that guy he meets at the beginning, he does kind of act a little bit like
Ex-
Arjit. I have a feeling that guy probably was meant to be Arjit, but then because Arjit kind of looks like a rat or
right.
a hedgehog looking thing, maybe they couldn't actually make the costume or have afford to use the CGI to make him look like that. So
Again,
maybe they just went, okay, just make him human and just have him fill the same role.
exactly my point. Spot on. Um, but yeah, but I'll tell you what, Kevin's car. It was pretty cool to
Yeah,
see it in live action. That
yeah.
was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure it was just I was gonna say not an Audi, a Camaro. I think it's just like Camaro painted green and black, or at least
yeah,
it looks like a Camaro to me.
but I even liked, the turbo boost and everything. It's like they kind of thought this through.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold on one second, guys. Good morning, Melissa. How are you doing today?
oh, hey, Melissa
No.
Harris, how you doing?
Good morning.
But let's see, where was I?
Talk about the car.
The car.
Yeah, the car was awesome. I also liked this is again, I feel like it's a function of the live action thing. The return of the local town folks as plumbers, the techie hideout,
Yeah.
and all that. Um, but still, the fact that there's no analog in the cartoon, a bit jarring. It's like
Yeah.
these are actually good things. Why are they not in the cartoon?
Yeah, because this somewhere through this movie they make mention of a like plumbers' bases all over the world, which I don't
Right.
think any previous show ever mentioned. We only knew about plumbers' bases throughout America.
And I got some really mixed feelings about what's her name? Elena? Was that her name? Elena?
Yeah, Elena.
She's like a retcon insert character. This whole idea of Ben's first love. It's like
Yeah, that
no.
was strange. There was like mixed messaging there because Ben mentioned that he knew her when he was 13, and then later Gwen mentions about her being his first crush, which
Right.
I'm pretty sure the original series established that Kai was Ben's first crush, not Elena.
Exactly. Exactly
Unless
my
Ben
point.
met Elena before the original series, maybe. And because Ben doesn't say he met her when he was 13, but rather he knew her when he was 13.
Yep.
So
And
they weren't really clear on that.
that just kind of, I'm like, no. And for everything else you would expect with a new season or a new film or whatever, you expect there to be sometimes kind of clunky lines where people are saying things that are trying to help the audience that is new to get into it. Talking
Yeah,
about Elena and giving her background was significantly more clunky because it's
yeah,
Ben and Gwen talking about things they both should know without having to talk about.
yeah,
But beyond that, they're doing it for not just the new audience, but for everybody because it's
yeah,
a retcon kind of a thing. And it's like, I hate that. But I
yeah,
think that brings me to my biggest point, which I have to preface with a question. This
yeah.
is non-canon with the cartoon, right?
No, it is in continuity.
How the hell
And
does that happen?
there are multiple things from this film that we will be seeing later.
Well, I know
So yeah,
I've seen like Elena comes back again. Okay, fine. But
and also Ben's car that Kevin gives him, we see that again. He uses that. The transformation Nanomach at the end, he then will also turn into him as well.
okay.
And also the fact that near the end of this film, the character Ben and, well, not so much Ben, but more specifically Kevin and Gwen, they change outfits from the outfits they wore during season 1 and 2 in Alien Force, and then by the end of the movie, they were dressed in the outfits that they wear during season 3.
Okay, all of that I can kind of buy, except there's two very important factors here. One,
Yeah,
maybe this isn't that important, but it's important to me just from a
yeah,
continuity standpoint. Kevin's car, I
yeah,
mean, unless we watch this out of order, he's very all the rest of the first half of the season that we've watched so far. Kevin's car is just fine, and Max doesn't have one.
yeah,
So it hasn't happened yet, apparently. And the other problem is, and I this is I think has less to do with the movie. I don't point the finger at the movie for this. It's probably more a problem we'll get into a little bit with the cartoon. It's the characterization of Ben.
yeah,
In the cartoon, he is very much that heroic character, right? That
yeah,
I mean, I'd even almost say humble, especially at towards the end when uh, Max is like, okay, I think you should think about taking over. I think it's time for me to
yeah,
retire, and that is not what I see going into the cartoon. I don't see any of that.
yeah,
We have a complete regression of his character. He is not ready to take over in any way, shape, or form.
He's totally obnoxious.
Yeah, he becomes incredibly obnoxious.
And it's like, why is he regressing back to very, very first season of Ben 10 when he was immature and acting like a 10-year-old?
So yeah, I have real issues with this. Although kind of reining myself in a little bit, it's not as big an issue as I did with like the characterization of the parents in the previous one, and other issues like that. So
yeah, this time you didn't see parents at all.
Yeah, which was probably for the best.
yeah. Actually, I'm pretty sure we'll never see the parents again, unless I'm mistaken somewhere. But
well, as long as the show is called Alien Force, which means they spend most of their time in outer space, that's probably a good thing. Okay, I'm done with the movie though. I mean, where are you at on it?
I mean, I enjoyed this movie, but that's because I saw this movie when I was younger, and of course I have the DVD and everything. And I've had it for a number of years by now.
Yeah,
I've not seen this movie that many times, but I enjoyed this. I mean, the CGI is a marked improvement, especially with like the aliens here. And there are definitely some cool moments, like Ben jumping off the motorbike and transforming into Humongousaur in midair. I do find it weird though that he like grows the spikes or the plates or whatever on Humongousaur, but he doesn't grow at the same time. Maybe that's a difference in like the powers, or because like the show always showed the plates on Humongousaur when he grows giant. So I'm kind of confused as to if that's a case of where they couldn't afford to make Humongousaur like super massive.
It also and I'm wondering if you know anything about this as far as the behind the scenes kind of thing. It really had a feeling of, and I said this about the previous live action, like it was meant to be a spin-off to a new live action ongoing series. Was there ever an intent to do that?
I'm pretty sure there was no intention of that. I'm pretty sure it was meant to just be a live action movie based on the show. Yeah. I mean, this movie was made like halfway through season 3. So
yeah,
there was definitely time for them to acknowledge different things that happened early in season 3 at least, but they don't. Obviously they couldn't, because this would take place before all of that, but they could have. I mean, all they really did was have some of the characters change outfits to match what they wear in season 3. Although the whole Ben having a car and then him having the nanomach transformation, I think that because the film was made during the season, I think that's why they didn't actually include those elements in Alien Force Season 3.
Yeah, just and
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Again, if it is canon or continuity or whatever, very, very clunky. Very
Yeah.
clunky. The fact that I go from watching this film to then, hey, and the other thing too is Kevin, not looking like Metamorpho from DC Comics, which I also had in my notes too when we get to the cartoon again. Very, very clear the way he acts and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he looks perfectly normal. So I'm like, okay, so how did he get normal again? What happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the cartoons they explain it away, but
yes,
they don't.
That would have been an easy thing to do too.
I think if this movie was made before Season 3 went into production, then maybe the things in this would have been actually in Season 3.
Yeah.
Because how it stands now, instead they implemented some of these elements into Ultimate Alien, because that came right after Season 3 of Alien Force. So by that point, they had the time to include the elements that were added in this movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But, there we go. Okay, thank you.
Well,
I'm glad I was able to get all of that out, and now I can just. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and Nanomac is actually voiced by director Alex Winter.
Oh, okay.
So this is the second time he's guest voiced a character in his own movie that he's directing.
Yeah.
Well, cheap labor.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to pay himself.
Yeah, that is a good point. Actually, what do you think of Alex Winter's directing ability? Since actually, these are the only two films he's directed that you've watched, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, would you call this qualifying enough to judge his directing style?
I was just going to say, I think it's very difficult to judge a director based on this because there are other aspects of filmmaking that go into something like this that, even though it's meant to be a feature film, it's still an after school TV movie, is how it feels. The kind of low budget, acting's kind of clunky. Maybe I could say the director did a decent job as far as what he had to work with. Okay. But yeah, I don't think it's a good showcase for him as a director. It's hard for me to say. I did notice as I'm looking at your screen and I'm seeing some of the pictures you have up, that jacket that Ben is wearing, it reminded me of again in the movie we get Ben on a motorcycle, and I'm like, okay, where is this in the cartoon? This doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's where it got me lost, because we started watching. I'm seeing all these people on motorcycles, and I'm like, what are we watching?
And I'm also thinking, hey, this would actually be good in the cartoon. Again, so many things missing in the movie I assume because of budget, which is very jarring.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, why are we doing live action? But then on the flip side, they actually do good stuff in the movie. And I'm like, well, why aren't we seeing it in the cartoon? It costs zero to add those elements,
Yeah.
But it's like when Troy put it on for us to watch, like I said, I'm seeing these kids in motorcycles, and I'm like, what are we watching? He goes, this is Ben 10. I'm like, it doesn't look like Ben 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody really felt like their characters, like looking at them, I couldn't just sit there and go, okay, that guy's Ben, that guy's, Gwen, or girl's Gwen. This is It was like, who are these people? I didn't have any clue until.
And also, this movie didn't have a proper opening; it just sort of started.
True.
Exactly.
True.
That's why I was like, what is this? What are we watching?
So it that really adds to the jarringness of where it falls in the timeline, because any fan coming to this comes in going, okay, is this between seasons? Is this, between two particular episodes. Give me something to ground me in where this is taking place. Although, if I was a long-term fan, I'd be doing the same thing, thinking the same thing I did with the other live action movie. Okay, this isn't really, Ben 10. This is an alternate universe thing. I don't have to worry about it,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, if you leave your audience wondering what they're watching, then you didn't do a good
That's
job.
that's a bad sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, now let's